Well, the pipeline to Hawaii is working. All right, Huskers Live right here, the voice of college football, GBR to all of you. And we do it for a 131st time here on a Tuesday night with Greg Peterson, who's gearing up for, of course, Big Ten Media Days. But we will possibly squeeze in one more show before Big Ten Media Days. I guess we'll have to work out some travel plans and figure that out. But that's next week. This week, a commit to talk about. Greg, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I am good. It's not 115 degrees here like it is at other spots across the country, so I'm doing well. I am doing well.
It's a balmy 79 right here. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're probably somewhere in that range ourselves.
I prefer it a little warmer, but it is what it is. But we've gotten a lot of rain that we needed, so it's been good.
Well, we could certainly talk some weather when we talk about Hawaii and Preston Taumua, who's grown up and played most of his football in pretty favorable conditions, I would think. But the 4-star is the latest for Matt Rule and company.
Yeah, and that's I'll start off by saying that's just a big feather in Donovan Raiola's cap right there for Landon Preston. So the question is this the start of the pipeline, of a new pipeline from Hawaii? Since obviously the Raiola family is from Hawaii. So yeah, that's a great get. Preston Taumua, 6'4", 317 pounder. A guy that's ranked in the top 300 across the board with all the recruiting services. 4-star, and a guy that really hit it off with Donovan Raiola, and it goes to show, how familiarity, with your coaches really makes a big deal. And now Nebraska has two pretty big time offensive linemen now already in this 2024 class. So, it puts he's the 24th commit in the Nebraska class, and a class that I think they're ranked 21st, I think, on On3, and 20th on some other services. But yeah, that's a good get. I mean, obviously for all the people that have been upset about the offensive line, and a lot of the people that were kind of shocked that Matt Rule retained Donovan Raiola, and now you kind of see why. It looks like relationships pay off, and Preston really had a great visit here, and Nebraska beats out teams like Alabama and USC and Auburn and Oregon for this guy. So, Nebraska fans should be really, really happy about this commitment from a big native Hawaiian.
Folks, as you see on the board there, 16th rated according to On3's ranking, 16th at his position, guard center, 235 nationally, number 1 rated player in the state of Hawaii. And those rankings are pretty consistent across the board from everyone else as well. I rarely see the rankings that consistent. They're all around 200.
Yeah, I know. You're right. He's a heck of a football player. And, when you think about high impact players from the state of Hawaii, I guess you'd probably, there's a lot of them that have played at a high level, not just in college, but in the NFL. I mean, Troy Polamalu obviously would be a guy that would come to your mind first. But, Hawaii produces a lot of really good prospects, and it's nice to have a native Hawaiian on your coaching staff to help do that. And Like we've talked about in the past, that Donovan Raiola has been after a lot of these Polynesian players because they can connect on a different level, and obviously when they come from the same city, same part of the country, you have kind of a leg up, and we all know how hard it is. I mean, for kids from Hawaii, how hard it is for their families to come and watch them. They have to spend a pretty good dime on coming to see their kids play in person. But he was just blown away by Nebraska, and those schools that we just talked about that Nebraska beat out on him. That just shows a lot about the new culture being built here, and I think it solidifies Matt Rule's choice to keep Donovan Raiola on the staff.
You hit on some of the offers. The other ones include Miami, Florida, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, Utah, Washington.
Yeah. Man, who's of blue blood programs were after this kid. So it's just a huge. I mean, I wasn't even expecting it, and it was funny because the time difference obviously comes to play in it. But he announced it on his Twitter at 1 a.m. Lincoln time here, Central Standard Time. I think it was Saturday or Sunday night. So that's pretty hard for those guys that have to write stories that at 1 a.m. that a commitment comes through. But great news all the way around. Anyway, around here.
Nice work, Donovan Raiola and Matt Rule. All right, that boosts the class.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, the second-rated player in the class to Carter Nelson.
Yeah.
Appreciate all of you here. A lot of GBRs, a lot of Husker power, a lot of Go Big Red. And by the way, as kind of a side note, you said 79 there in Nebraska. It's ironically 79 right here, right now. Exactly.
In the great city of Dayton, right?
Akron, Ohio.
Akron, okay.
Close to it.
Close enough, yeah.
Bone-Led Corn-Fed asking whether Nebraska football coaches are right now at a speaking event in Texas.
I believe they are. They're doing. They're kind of trying to get everywhere where they can. Before Big Ten Media Days next week. So they're out there. They're always. The state of Texas is a huge priority for them. So they never turn down a chance to go down there and represent the brand of Nebraska and the brand of Matt Rule and his style of football. So yeah, they're always out there doing their things, and in a week they're all going to move into the dorms together. So they're a little over a week for that, but after Matt Rule and the three players come back from Indianapolis, which the three guys most people probably know now that I only got one of them right when I was given my guess, which was obviously Jeff Sims, but Ethan Piper and Luke Reimer will be the other two players representing the Huskers there in Indianapolis next Thursday.
I don't think that this question is going to stop until somebody commits. But we've got Grant Brix and we've got Brandon Baker, and Publix Eye Outdoors wants to know if Nebraska is still in the hunt.
Oh, big time. Yes, absolutely. We talked a lot about Grant Brix last week to go along already with what they have, and now you just added another high-profile offensive lineman And I think that's just got to fuel Grant Brix more about, having Nebraska right up there on the top of his list. So I feel really, really good about getting Grant Brix in here. Baker is another guy that I would definitely think that he's really, really high on Nebraska. We already know that, but you just kind of see what they're doing, and already up to 24 commits too. So that kind of puts pressure on these guys right now. If you really, really like Nebraska, you probably should pull the trigger sooner than later because this class is almost full. And that's a speculation because, I don't think they're going to turn down guys. They just got to figure out ways to make the numbers work. So, guys that are on the cusp right now that are still kind of holding on, it's probably time right now to make up your mind. So we'll see. But God, if you got both of those guys, think about that. A 5-star and 3 4-star offensive linemen in the same class would just be outstanding. So, we're going to see. And, Nebraska's not dumb, too. They're not going to say, hey, we're full. We'll find a way to take you and just get in here. So I just think the recruiting momentum has just picked up like crazy, since the start of June. And all these guys that have been here and spent time with the coaching staff and have seen what the University of Nebraska offers to them, it's a hard no. It's hard to say no for these kids. And you're throwing out the record, obviously, from the past. Since, right now, Matt Rule's 0-0 as a head coach at Nebraska. So, things can only get better from here.
Yeah, and I definitely think that that's one of the advantages. It's not an advantage; it's a lack of a disadvantage. Is that they don't have to try to recruit with what the record has been, and Matt Rule can point to his record, his personal record, and say, "Look at what I did at Temple. Look at what I did at Baylor. I'm going to do the same at Nebraska," and you can be in the starting blocks as part of the foundation of what we're going to do here. And I think that there's part of that excites a certain type of player rather than jumping on board with a proven winner, being sold and being excited about being a foundational piece and being the start of something special and being able to then later look back and say, hey, I was part of the resurgence. I was part of the glory coming back to Nebraska football.
And we've, it's funny because, you've been saying this for years, really. That's always been one of the recruiting pitches that, you're going to be part of the class that turns it all around. That's been going on since Mike Riley and Scott Frost. Every year when you get a new head coach, that's kind of what your message is. But this is the first time with Matt Rule that I think that the way he just draws respect from everybody, and that's just the way he treats people is just top notch and such a personable guy. He's not one of these guys that comes off as a used car salesman. He generally believes in his abilities and his system, and he recruits to his strengths. Obviously, if you look at the list of the 24 recruits in this year's class, how heavy it is in the state of Texas, where he's very, very well known. That speaks for itself right there, in my opinion, that, Texas has nothing to do with the Big Ten. And to go in there and to pull that many recruits out of the state of Texas to a Big Ten school is very, very telling about the influence that he has and his staff. I mean, they basically own that state of Texas. And, you know, to have that kind of a presence down there, I think is going to be huge moving forward throughout the next few years.
When are you heading down to Big Ten Media Days?
Next Wednesday, day after our scheduled show on Tuesday. So, and you know what? After last week, I hadn't even looked at the airline stuff, and you'd asked me, you know, if you can fly there direct. Obviously now you can, because we are flying out of Omaha, a direct flight to Indianapolis.
Nice.
So yeah, we should not have any hiccups this year. I don't know when they added that direct flight. It's on United, but I didn't know when they added that to Omaha. But thank God they did.
Well, I will let you know, sir. But I put in for credentials a few days ago. The deadline was yesterday, and I've not heard back. So I have no idea whether I will get them or not.
What's the guy's name? Shipman? Is that who you had to send it to?
That's a good question. I filled out whatever was the form for credentials anyway, and I followed up with him today to see, because I thought I was supposed to hear back by now. It's a little bit longer than I remembered Indianapolis being on a drive. It's like 4.5 hours, but I'm not too crazy about that. But I thought, you know what the heck? Let's it's not that far away.
I don't know. They're usually, as far as I can tell you, they're usually pretty prompt on sending you an email saying that you've been accepted. But we always send it out months in advance anyway.
Yes.
So,
yeah, and I was even surprised that they were still taking credential requests.
I don't know why they would not allow it. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. Wait until tomorrow, then you know you're like a week away from it before you make a final judgment, I guess. But yeah, we
shall see. We shall see. All right, folks.
I could send a last minute one in for you for Husker Online. See if if the deadline's over, it probably wouldn't work. But
shoot, I even put in. Well, I followed up with an email. And I said, hey, you know, we've got these number of Big Ten channels. We got 60,000 subscribers between all the channels. Here you go. I would think that would get us in, but we'll see.
I would too. And I firmly believe that they probably will. You'll probably get an email here saying that it's been accepted. But that's just me. I could be wrong.
Comments and questions, folks, we will take them here at the Voice of College Football. This is our weekly Nebraska show. We've done it 131 times. Greg's here to deliver, and we appreciate Greg being here. Otherwise, we don't have a Nebraska show. So please leave your comments and questions there in the chat, and or you can give us some time off. Either way, it works. We hit the one thing we needed to hit. Preston Taumua. And he is in the fold. All right. Because I've got nothing else on the docket. I've done my scouring of the internet before we jumped on to see what was out there, if there was anything else, and nothing since that commit.
Yeah, I mean, the time of year right now, obviously everybody's just all excited for things to get going. And, we're seeing SEC Media Days going on now. Big Ten already did theirs. So, yeah, college football is about ready to get going. And everybody's just kind of taking their final vacation time and stuff. And I am super stoked. I really feel like I haven't had anything to do all summer. So I'm chomping at the bit to actually get back to work. So I'm happy as a clam right now.
Okay. I think I've been working hard enough.
You work harder than about anybody I know.
I don't need to notch it up another notch. Well, I appreciate that, Greg. When I had somebody say that to me about a week ago, I told them, I appreciate anybody that says that to me, but at the same time, I said that's not my goal. That is not my goal
Yeah.
to be the hardest working man on YouTube. No, we don't need that. That's not the goal.
Hey, you're just trying to pay the bills. I mean,
Yes,
just like
just
everybody else.
run the best channel would be
Yeah,
that would be a better
absolutely.
goal, but we don't need to be the hardest working.
Hey,
Maybe the
it's my favorite
smartest
channel.
working.
It's my favorite channel outside of Husker Online channel. So there you go.
Appreciate that. All right, folks. Well, as and I got to tell everyone, because of the many streams that we do, and we've got a Texas one starting here at 7:30 with our guy Matthew Miller. That's over on the main channel, 7:30 Eastern. I won't be part of that, but yeah, I unfortunately can't take the time to produce and build some of these, any kind of a rundown on some of these shows. So Greg and I, we just get together and we wing it
Yeah,
uh, based on what's going on. So
I think that's what we all do, right?
Bill is asking about Thomas Fidone and how he's looking.
Hey, he's back to 100%, no restrictions at all, and he's been working his ass off all summer to hone his skills and take a large leadership role. For a guy that he's been in this is his third year in the program and he hasn't played a single game yet. For a guy that was the top tight end in the country when he got here, and they've brought him along slowly and restricted him because, as we know, he's blown his knee out 2 years in a row in before fall, either spring practice or fall camp. So it's been so unfortunate for him and for a kid that he was such a pleasure to cover in high school. I mean, every game that you ever went to, you knew you were going to get a highlight package, of at least 2 or 3 touchdowns, and just such a really good football player and a guy that I mean, it's been so hard on him dealing with injuries and not being able to be on the field. And I think right now he is just in the best spirits mentally that he has been in since his senior year, in Council Bluffs. So, it's obviously going in to fall camp. He's the number 1 tight end, and you pray for him to get out of fall camp healthy, and I think they're going to do everything possible to make sure of that. They're going to limit his reps, which is hard. If you hear the coaches talk about him, he's a guy that he wants to be out there every play. It doesn't matter, special teams or offense or anything. He just wants to be out there playing football, and right now he's poised to go in there and have a nice connection with Jeff Sims. They've had plenty of time now to work together and get to know each other. So I am super excited for Thomas, and I really do expect for him to come out and really, shine and put his mark on the offense and the offensive scheme, and really, just live up to the hype that he had coming out of high school from Lewis Central.
Never mind me is more excited about this football season coming up than he's been in years.
I'm right there with you, bro.
Okay.
I've been waiting since, I don't know, when did spring ball get over? Into April? Yeah, I want to get this thing going because I'm super excited obviously, I think that kind of shows every week when we talk about Matt Rule and his staff that I've been more excited than I ever have, seriously, about any of these new coaches that have come in over the last, 10, 12 years.
All right, folks. Going once, going twice, going three times. Any other questions? I'm pretty sure starting next week, now that we've got Big Ten Media Days right in front of us, we will have no shortage of topics starting next week. So I have no issue with us packing it up and me getting an early dinner and working on my to-do list tonight.
Well, yeah, you got an hour right now until your next show, so.
No. I'm clear. I'm clear for the rest of the night.
Oh, I thought you were doing the Texas thing. Oh, no, that's on the main channel.
Texas guy's going to do his own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have to deal with that. I am going to eat. And unfortunately, I can't enjoy the rest of the night. I got to go over and clear out my mom's old condo and pack up more in my car.
Always fun. Well, I do. You know what? I hope they let me know too. Text me if they accept you for Indianapolis too, because that'd be really cool. We could do a show from down there, and we can break bread together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a buddy coming with me. I did put a credential in for another guy, buddy, just to help me. Shoot some things and so forth. Obviously, I'm down there to get all the interviews and get all that done. Absolutely. Good stuff.
It's a good time, really. I mean, and I like it too because Nebraska goes on day one, I think again. Or no, is it day two? Yeah, they go on day two.
Day two.
Yeah. But we'll fly down there on day one, so we won't have to bother with it on day one, and enjoy our time in Indianapolis like we always do. And I know we were already eating at a Mexican restaurant that we found last year that Steve Sipple on our staff really, really enjoyed. So we're going to cater to him.
Okay, so you got no choice.
Yeah, and it's really close to the hotel that we stay at too, so you can just walk over there. So, but it was really, really amazing food. I can't remember the name of the place, and it's a good way. It's a good time, when you don't go to Chances Are and spend $1,000 on a steak dinner. So,
yeah, I was just about to say I've not been to a conference media days forever. Since I used to go to the SEC media days every year, but I forget that I did check in at the American Conference media days 2 or 3 years in a row here, about 5 years ago. Sure. It's not quite the big to do that it is with the Big Ten or the SEC, but it was still a good time.
Well, I was kind of surprised that SEC is doing theirs in Nashville this year.
Yeah,
because it's been in Hoover. In Birmingham for forever. But I really like, obviously Big Ten did it in Chicago for many, many years, since their headquarters are there. And I'm a Chicago guy, so I love Chicago, but ever since they've moved it to Indianapolis, the venue is just much, much better for everybody. Instead of doing it in a hotel in crowded areas, you have the whole football field inside the dome there in Indianapolis, and it flows so much better. And I mean, everybody can stretch out, and it's always great to see your colleagues from the other schools, obviously, and to chat them up and maybe go out, at night and hang out with them and stuff. But Indianapolis, I don't know if I might not have liked it the first year they did it, but just for the flow of the whole day and how it goes, it is so much easier than it was when it was in Chicago. And they used a couple of different venues in Chicago that kind of switch off. in my opinion, I like going to Indianapolis now more than I like going to Chicago for it. But don't get me wrong, I'd rather go to Chicago just for, my peace of mind anyway.
This coming in here is what's called a super chat, folks, and these come in on the other shows, but not necessarily this show very often. But this is what's called a super chat, and this is actually Matthew Miller, who's hosting our Texas show. And I just cost him $5 because he's trying to track me down to get him a code so he can do his live stream. So Matthew, I will reimburse you, Matthew, but YouTube's taking 40% of that anyway.
Yeah.
So yes. So this is me texting Matthew back to hopefully get him all set up so he can be on his way. All right. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll make it on back next Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Huskers Live. Thanks for being here. Bring a friend or two or 50 next week, and we'll do it again.
Have a good night, everybody.